All right. So, hi everyone. My name again is Pooja Tilvawala. I'm the founder and executive director of Youth Climate Collaborative, and we are a global youth-led organization that is helping young people ages 35 and under who are already involved in climate change to have the community and the ecosystem of support to advance their solutions with skills building, access, and community. This is our very first climate media training, kicking off with the Africa Climate Media Training. Next year, we're going to host this before Africa Climate Summit. This year, because it's our first one, we just had more time in these 2 days, so that's why we're hosting it now. But we hope you find it very useful. Our next speaker is Mathani Ahmed, who will be speaking about science communication. So Mathani is the founder and executive director of Green for Sudan, and which is a youth-led science communication journal. She works to amplify youth voices in science communication and climate action, pioneering new ways for young people to shape public understanding and policy. Her passion lies in using storytelling and knowledge sharing to build resilience and sustainable futures for Sudan and beyond. All right. And then this session is called Pioneering Science Communication in a Challenging African Media Landscape. This session will provide a deep dive into the challenges and opportunities for science communication within the African context. Drawing on her direct, hands-on experience as the founder of Green for Sudan, a youth-led science communication journal, she will share practical insights on how to effectively bridge the gap between scientific knowledge and community engagement. We could all use that, right? And then participants will learn how to navigate a complex media landscape, build a mission-driven platform, and create compelling evidence-based content that empowers local youth to take climate action. Mathani, the floor is over to you. Is there anything you'd like to add to your introduction?
No, first, thank you, Pooja, for this introduction, and it's all good. Thank you.
No problem. Mathani, go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. In this session, we are going to dive into the art of communicating climate science. Our goal isn't just to talk about facts and figures, it's to explore how we can turn them into stories that people will listen and act on. Okay. Over the next hour or so, we will cover three key things. First, we'll be talking about the why storytelling is our most powerful tool for talking about climate change, especially here in Africa. Next, we will get practical with the what. Um, the key principle of great science communication. We will learn how to amplify complex ideas, use powerful visuals, and connect them with audience. And finally, we will move into the how. You will get to put these principles into practice with a short hand-on experience. Okay. By the end of this session, my hope is that you will feel more confident and equipped to use your voice to tell the critical climate stories of our time. So let's get started. Next slide, please. So we hear about science communication and how it bridges the gap between scientific understanding and the public. But what exactly is science communication? I think of science communication as a building bridge. We take information from climate scientists and on one side and build a bridge to the public on the other. So everyone can cross over and understand the critical change happening to our world, okay? Science communication must be accessible, actionable, and relatable. This means that science communication isn't just about sharing facts, it's about making them meaningful and useful. We can let me just break this bridge analogy a little bit. Okay, so the powerful metaphor means that a huge gap exists between the world of scientific research and the general public. On the one hand, the scientists with their complex data, technical language, and specialized journals, this word is hard to get, I know. And on the other hand of the bridge is the public, your community, your friends, your family. They need to understand climate change to make informed decisions. But they don't have the time or background to read scientific papers. So the bridge itself is the communication, okay? Your job is to build that bridge. Your you take the information from the scientist and translate it into a message that is clear and easy to understand, okay? Uh, we have our first quality of a strong, well-built bridge is accessible. What does accessible mean? Accessible means that the message can be easily understood by everyone. You avoid jargons, which is a technical terms, blah, 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 blah. Use single language and present information in formats people usually use, like videos, stories, social media, and so on. And also we have actionable. Actionable means that your message must give the people clear next step. What is next? Okay, it's not just enough to talk about the problem. You must show them what they can do about it, no matter how small. This empowers them instead of overwhelming them. And finally, we have relatable. This means your message must connect to a person's daily life, like culture, or values, or whatever. Instead of talking about a global number, you could talk about how climate change affects their local groups, their health, their children's future. It makes a distant concept personal, okay? In short, your role is to build a bridge that is so accessible, actionable, and relatable that everyone can cross over to understand the science and feel empowered to act. Next slide, please. Okay, we have the why, making science personal. Okay, we can make this a little bit interactive. You can share me on the chat what's a climate effect you have seen or felt in your community. And
Sorry, what did you say?
I said if they can share a climate effect they have seen in their community.
Oh, okay. Yes, everybody, please use the chat to share this. And the session is already being recorded, don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this could be anything like droughts, extreme heat waves, or delay in rains, and so. Okay, we have some comments. Nice, that's great.
Yeah, Mathani, do you
Okay,
want to read them out loud?
of course. Okay, first we have floods and droughts, and second, the number of floods increased in my native place. Okay. Third, we have flood in KC, I think. I don't know if I'm pronounced. Okay, this is in Uganda, right?
It's Kasese. Kasese, Uganda.
Kasase. Okay, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So, we have when when we talk about personal stories, we have the power of narrative. This is the most important idea of science communication. It means that raw facts and data on their own don't move people, okay? Facts are like ingredients. You can think of them like that. Like you can tell someone, I have flour, I have sugar and butter. But that's not very interesting. But you can make a story out of it. Like you can say to someone, I baked a delicious cake for my grandmother for her birthday. I used cake, I used flour, I used sugar, and so on. So this is the difference between having a raw data and having a story about this data. Your job as a climate communicator isn't just to report that global temperature are rising by a significant number or degree, okay? That's a fact. It's important, but it's cold and distant. Your job is to translate that fact into a human story. We can have like a small case, you can say rainfall patterns in this region have become more erratic, leading to a 30% decline in crop yield. Okay, that is true, but it's a little bit boring, okay? Instead, you can tell a story. A few years ago, my grandmother's small farm was her whole livelihood, but the rain stopped coming and the sun baked her yields, okay? She lost nearly a third of her crops last year, and now she can barely afford to send my younger cousin to school. So this is the difference between having abstract data, boring data, or between having a story based on that data. The first statement is a data. The second is a story makes the data feel personal, emotional, or real. That's what makes people listen, hear, and act. Next slide, please. Okay. So now that we know why we tell stories, let's get into the key principles that will make your communication effective. There are 3 rules I want you to remember. First, you must know your audience. Knowing your audience is the first and most important step because it's foundation of all effective communication. If you don't understand who you are talking to, your message, no matter how accurate, will likely be ignored or misunderstood, right? Think of it this way. The most powerful truth is useless if it's delivered in a way that doesn't resonate with the person listening. Let's say we have a doctor. A doctor doesn't explain a diagnosis to a patient the same way they would do to a fellow doctor, right? Why? Because the audience knowledge, fear, and priorities are completely different, right? Knowing your audience will allow you to build trust. People trust those who speak their language and understand the context. By using relatable examples and addressing their specific concerns, you show that you see them, which is the first step of being heard. Second, we have simplify, don't dumb down. Okay, I like this one. It's actually funny. It means making a complex idea easy to understand without losing the essential scientific truth. It's about translating, not erasing, okay? For example, when talking about climate change, you can amplify by saying the word atmosphere is like a warm blanket. We are making it thicker by burning fuel, which traps more heat and makes the planet hotter. This is accurate, easy to understand, and fun, but you will be dumbing it down if you just said the world is getting a little warmer because of our actions, which is making us feel like we are lazy or something. Okay. And finally, you should definitely use the powerful visuals. Your visuals, photos, charts, and graphics should not just illustrate your point, they should tell a story and evoke emotion. They are a key part of your message, not just a decoration, okay? You can think of it this way. A A chart showing temperature increase over 15 years is a valuable fact. It's a great piece of evidence. A photo of a dry riverbed with a child looking at it tells a story of loss and struggle for survival. It makes the temperature increase feel real and personal. And when it comes to visuals, powerful visual help you build the bridge of communication by making abstract scientific concept tangible, emotional, and relatable. Next slide, please. Okay, we have, okay. The how, a live communication challenge. We have a challenge, a little challenge that we can do all together. All right, everyone. The principles are clear. Now it's time to put them into action. We are going to do a quick live challenge. I'll put a scenario on the screen with a topic and an audience, okay? And I will give you like 2 minutes to think. And you can find the scenarios in the next slide, Pooja. Okay, our first challenge is about the link between extreme heat and urban areas. Your audience is on social media. What is the message would you use or to get their attention? You can use the chat or also you can unmute your microphone. And just to save time, you can choose from the two scenarios. Our second scenario is talking about water pollution. Your audience is elders in a rural village. How would you explain this issue to them?
Maybe you can do an example with one of them and then they can do this, or we can do it together. Is everybody interested in doing this together?
Okay, of course.
Yes? Okay, let's do this together. Mathani, why don't you walk us through how you would approach this?
Okay, I could start with I could use the second scenario, or the third scenario, so I can let this to them.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about explaining heat waves to children. First, we should talk to them in a very simple language because we have kids, let's say like from 10 to 8 years. And instead of telling them, we have the people gathered in Paris and they decided we must not succeed 2 degrees and so on, we should just tell them that they don't care about the politics, our leaders gather or not. They don't care about this. So instead, we should tell them about what should they do to reduce the extreme heat. Like you can tell them you can plant some trees in the neighborhood. We can stop burning. You can tell your mom to not burn it coal for cooking and this simple stuff, if you get what I mean.
Ready, Mathani, why don't we do a little bit of role play? So I can be the child that you're talking to, and you can be the person who's explaining to me what the heat wave is, okay?
Okay.
Or is there anybody in the audience who wants to play the role of the child? So Mathani is going to be talking to you as if you're a child to explain the heat waves, and you can ask questions back like, "Oh, what's that?" Does anybody want to do that?
I can volunteer.
All right, thank you, Dabisha.
Oh, there's one more volunteer. Please, Mapa, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Mapomwe?
Minette.
Minette, go ahead.
Okay. So you are the one to start, right?
Yeah, so you're the child and Matani is explaining to you heat wave. So Matani, you can start and Minette will be the child. Matani, we can't hear you. Hello?
I think maybe her line is breaking.
Yeah, I think it's breaking.
Can you?
You're coming in and out. Can you try again? Okay, maybe while Matani is figuring out her mic, we have somebody else. Does somebody else want to volunteer to explain heat waves or water scarcity or something to a child?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's my internet.
No problem. So you can do the role playing of explaining the heat wave, and Minette will be the child.
Okay, so first I can explain to you what in the first phase is the heat waves. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Minette.
Minette. Okay, Minette. Minette, first you should know that the heat wave is different from a normal hot day. You know, like if we have a hot day where the temperature is like 40 degrees, it's not what we mean by heat wave, okay?
Yes.
Because the heat lasts for a long time, even so, okay? Our bodies need a break from the heat to cool down and reset. When it stays hot, it's night and so on. So it's not this meaning when we say heat waves, okay? So our
So
sun,
what is heat wave? Does it
yes,
necessarily have to be linked to fire? What is it all about?
okay. We have a scientist who care about the science behind climate change, and they told us that because of climate change, which is like Earth's blanket getting thicker and trapping even more heat. Okay, heat waves are happening more often. This is the idea, and it's making it last longer and getting hotter. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. That was great. Now, why don't we try a different situation? So let's do topic B. Who would like to play the role of an elder or community leader? And who would like to be the person who explains what's happening to the local water sources and why it's a problem for the community? Sadiq, which character would you like to be?
Okay, let me play the role of an elder in the community.
Or let's just see what Sadiq wants to be first. Sadiq, what would you like to be? We can't hear Sadiq. Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to do the role play? Somebody new? Okay. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Tembukazi?
That's great, actually. You pronounced it perfectly.
Okay, great. Which role would you like to play?
If I explain,
network
please, that's
issue.
okay.
Network issue.
Great. You can explain. Perfect.
Cool.
And then who else is in the role play? With Tembukazi? Who would like to be the elder?
Why my network is
Okay,
like that?
Sadiq, we can hear you now. Do you want to be the elder? What's happening? Okay. Okay, Mathani, why don't you be, or who said they wanted to be, Minette, you wanted to be the elder, right? Why don't you be the elder? And then Tembukazi can be the explainer. Okay?
Okay, can we start?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm the one to start, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
Tembukazi, you can start.
Okay,
the
cool.
one to start.
Okay, greetings, Minette. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm great, thank you. I just want to acknowledge the space and give gratitude for what I'm about to explain because it's something that plagues a lot of communities, more especially having to be a leader in the space and having to understand what is happening. And connected to this is an issue of water scarcity. And what that means, it's that there's not enough clean water to meet the needs of our households, our farms, basically our daily lives. And elders in the space, they know better than anyone how rivers and springs used to flow more strongly, how the rains used to come more reliably. But today we see many rivers drying up, the rains coming late or falling into short bursts, and sometimes dams standing empty. And because of this, without enough water, families struggle to cook. Do you perhaps follow what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay.
I'm the audience and you are the scientists, like you are the experts explaining to us causes of water scarcity.
Yes. And because of this, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
bring it close to home how, as I've mentioned, families struggling to cook, clean, and
Yeah.
basically remain healthy. We get farmers who can't even irrigate their crops because food becomes scarce, and their livestock and animals and wildlife suffer, and which affects not only people's income, but food security as well. Water scarcity brings a lot of conflict as well because you become at war with your neighbor. Because when water is short, people are forced to make hard decisions, difficult decisions, whether it is used for drinking, for farming, or for just plain sanitation. It takes up every part of our lives. And many of us can remember great droughts in the past. I know I remember in my community, I had to walk far to fetch water. I remember how cattle in my home village grew thin, how harvests failed. But you also remember the strength and wisdom from community, from our people, that they used to survive, sharing resources and storing wisely and looking after one another. That is why I think it is very important for today's water scarcities to be reminders that climate is changing faster than before. We don't have to conceptualize it, but we must prepare together. And once we face occasionally these issues, we're starting to face them more often. And what was once rare is now becoming a norm. It's becoming something that is part of our everyday lives. And this is why I come to speak to you, to learn from your wisdom, but also to join hands with you in finding solutions.
Thank you so much for this brilliant presentation. But
Thank you
we
for
have been
listening.
curious. We have been so curious because our land has been so blessed. Our community was one of the best. We used to have a lot of water to drink, to cultivate our crops and the rest. Don't you think we are cursed? Or don't you think there's a witch in the village that is causing all this water scarcity? How can you clearly explain the fact that a community that used to have a lot of water is now suffering and is now struggling to even get drink or good potable water to drink and even to cultivate our crops? In simple terms, could you kindly just tell us the main reason why we are facing this water scarcity? Because it is not just water scarcity, it is also causing our crops not to grow well. And in future years, or maybe very soon, we are going to have food insecurity. So kindly let us know what is causing this water scarcity. Thank you.
Thank you for this question. And I think it's very important because a lot of us are not able to understand the connectedness of our natural resources, being water, because water has a lot of memory. Water is remembrance and water is resilience. And having to have the notion of being cursed, it haunts a lot of people because you think that you have wronged the creators, you have wronged your gods, whereas in the science of it, it can just be seasonal. But in our cultural aspects, it's deeper than that. And that is having to understand where we've gone wrong. Where have we stopped being resilient? Where have we stopped caring for our neighbors? And that is where we can start making sure that not everything has to come from policy, but it can come from community connectedness, understanding that there are certain indigenous practices that our forefathers and mothers have practiced for generations before us. Having to go back to the basics of understanding those systems and rights and practices, because not only did they become resilient in their time, we've lost that connectedness. It was science that was not conceptualized or defined as science. But in today's era, we always have to put a definition next to something, whereas this has been done for ages upon ages. We then need to understand how we can go back to those systems, how we can implement them from a bottom-up approach, how we can make sure that these models can be shared as, I can say, a copy and paste from one community to another, but noting the uniqueness of these rituals, of these rites, and of these customs that are so imperative, making sure that it is not going back to resilience work, but understanding the connectedness of our land, of our earth. I hope that answers the question.
It does. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
now, how can we effectively take action?
You guys,
What
I
is
think
the
we
next
are
step?
going to stop here for the role play.
Oh.
Thank you both very, very much. You're
It was so
very involved in
engaging.
it.
Thank you,
So
Annette.
engaged. Mathani, I'll turn it over to you to provide some comments on their role play, and then we can move forward. Thank you both.
Okay, they have done amazing actually. I couldn't have done it better myself, to be honest. So thank you for your time and your role play. And should we move on or?
Yes.
Okay. Since they have done something that's really powerful, actually, they have they have shown that they don't need to be a scientist to communicate science, as you all see. Okay, so let's we can move on to Okay, we have just to sum up. Okay, thank you for your energy and engagement. We started talking about science, but we are ending talking about your war. And I have just a little thing to say. You are not just a reporter, climate activist, or so on. You are the vital bridge between complex climate science and communities that need to understand it most. Okay, and you have the ability to take the fact about changing the weather patterns, and turn it into a story about family livelihood. Okay, you can transform a scientific about rising temperature into a call to action, like what you have just did. Okay, and that exactly Africa needs. Africa needs voices that speak not just with idea but with a deep understanding of its people, its culture, and its future. And the stories of climate change in Africa are your stories to tell. So, be, I encourage you to be the science communicator and storyteller that Africa needs. Be its voices, your words will create a ripple effect of change, and the beauty of our continent depends on the stories you choose to share. Thank you, and if you have any question, you can just unmute or write in the chat.
Does anybody have any questions? Thank you for an excellent presentation. Let's hear the question.
Yes,
now.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I want to know, when communicating some of this, like this science-related issues, we know most journalists don't understand the science around climate issues, but maybe if you're a corporate communications expert and you're trying to explain some of these complex issues, what is the best strategy to use? Like, how can you go about it? Especially some of these topics that are not that musical to the ears. What are some of the tactics you can use to get people to understand? Thank you.
I don't know if I get your question well. Did you get it, Pooja?
Sorry, what did you ask?
Did you get the question? Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, yes. I was saying that when communicating science-related issues, especially these topics that are not that musical, like heat waves, like I know things like advocacy, adaptation, and the rest are a little bit common, but when you want to start explaining some of these scientific aspects of climate change, or some of the research findings that has to do with data, how can you, or which tactic or which strategy can you adopt to make people understand, to even make people, to even get the attention of people, talk less of them understanding it? Because to some people, or to most people in the local community, climate change is still like a myth. So how can you go about it to really get their attention and help them understand the science aspect of it? Thank you.
Okay, I kind of get your question. So I honestly, I love to focus on the audience. Knowing my audience is like the key principle for its all. So I will give you an example of my work. Here in Sudan, we have this journal, and it didn't launch yet. Okay, so to make sure we reach all the youth in all the places in Sudan, in all the states, we have like a small survey. We asked them what is the most fact that resonates with them, what is the situation is their communities, and so on. And the key was we done it twice, to be honest. First, we sent them the survey in English and we didn't get the responses we wanted. But when we sent them this survey with an Arabic Sudanese language, we have like 200 responses, which is amazing because the first time when we send it in English, we had like 50, just 50. So we know that we should have started applying what we wanted to work on since the very beginning, and we applied this when we moved on. So when we tried to talk to someone to fund us, we also talked with a with a complicated language, and they didn't get us, to be honest, and we didn't get the fund. So we tried to develop another strategy, which is we do a lot of research about our target funders, and we talk to them in the language they want us to talk about it. So I I really love that, and I try to apply it in all my life aspects. So the first key principle is to know your audience. Are you talking to a university student? Because it's different from a PhD student, because it's different from a community leader. It's different from a farmer, from just a person with no any education background. It's really key. I don't know if this answered your question, but I try to do my best.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any question?
Are there any more questions? I don't see any more in the chat.
Me either.
And Mathani, do you have information about where people can follow or learn more about Green for Sudan or follow you on LinkedIn or something?
Yes, we have a page on LinkedIn. I can share the link on chat. Just a second.
Yes, no problem.
We still don't have a website.
No problem. Does anybody have any other questions? No? Well, while Mathani looks for that information, I'm going to go over the schedule for the rest of the day, the training. Oops, my phone accidentally died. I plugged it in. I'm not sure why it died. And there's the LinkedIn for Green for Sudan. Maybe
Yes.
Mathani, I have a question for you. How did you get Green for Sudan started? Can you tell us more about your journey as a climate leader and what got you interested in Green for Sudan and in science communication?
Okay. So it's actually, I started in 2020. At that time, I wanted to be a personal blog, but I couldn't. At that time, I was a fresh undergraduate student, and I had the lockdown of Corona, so I didn't. And as you know, in Sudan, we have a war. So after the war, after the 1 year of the war, it's just our education was interrupted because we have like a lot of youth who are in the universities, but our universities are had to stop because of the war. So I thought we might have something like we could share and we could connect and we could talk about the things that matter for us in our communities, about our environment, our climate, and so on. So I came with the idea of Green for Sudan, and I was lucky because I had the opportunity to to participate in a national hackathon here in Sudan, where they actually helped me a lot to develop this idea. And yes, it will be launched in October. So that's all.
Thank you for sharing that. And what have been some of your challenges that you faced in trying to do science communication, and how have you overcome them?
Okay, there like dozens of challenges because we have a lot of electricity outage. Our internet it's just blocked. We live months without internet, especially at the beginning of the war. So like the surveys I've talked about, it was printed versions. It wasn't. Yes. So we have like a lot. I had to delay a lot of work, and instead of having it like everything said and done in like 3 months, it took us like 7 months to do all of the work. So yes.
Oh, wow. You had to do all those surveys in person. Wow. That's
Yes.
that's a lot of
Thank
commitment. That's great.
yes. Thank you.
And for anybody who speaks Arabic here, Mathani will be leading this session in Arabic in October as well. We're still finalizing the date and time, but you can attend this session in Arabic too if you would like in October.
Yes. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you then, Mathani. Now
Thank you.
we have a break for about 45 minutes. We'll meet again at the top of the hour.